I think that's kind of how it's supposed to work. So let that tension bleed into the podcast. But yeah, I'm okay with tension. Don't bust them up.
The Wrestling Wrealm presents Wrestling for the Culture, where we highlight pro wrestlers and pro wrestling personalities of color. Here's your host, Brian H. Waters. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this special edition of Wrestling for the Culture. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. This show, of course, brought to you by the Wrestling Wrealm. You see the logo on the shirt. If you can't, I'm with the one, the only fam of the Black Rasslin Podcast. Fam, how you feeling?
Things are well. There's a lot going on.
Man, we live here at Blerdcon. We just got finished the panel. But, I was talking to fam, and I sat here, and I was like, man, you know what? People know I've always put on, I'm telling, I like to put on for other Black Rasslin podcasts, other podcasts in general. But look, we don't tend to stick together a lot of times as black people, but I'm really happy in this space that we've been doing in the past 6 to 8 months, man. But Black Rasslin, y'all got some new merch coming out. I'm excited about that. You want to give people a little bit of preview? I know that money making, how would you call it? Money making math? Merch making math usually handles that, but in his absence, do you want to spill a little bit?
I just say, the guy with the name Barrett, that's not where you get your news from.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna get.
All right. So, let's talk black wrestlers, right? Who's out there that's some of your favorites right now?
Of course, Chris Bay's the homie. Huge fan of Bianca. Sasha right now is the best wrestler in the world. Sorry, Kenny. You know what I mean? But those are really the folks that I'm tuning into every time. MVP is amazing every time that he talks on television. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But those are the folks that I'm really checking for.
I want to get your opinion on something. You brought up MVP. My co-host, shout out to my brother, the real Dwayne Allen. He brought up a good point.
Yeah, shout out to the fake Dwayne Allen, too.
Right. He brought up a good point that I was didn't want to accept. And we talked about it in the panel, the Hurt Business breaking up. How do you feel about it now, seeing the bigger picture, possibly? We've seen Lashley on a dominant run, something we haven't seen before. How do you feel about the Hurt Business breaking up now, post-breakup, almost 6 months later?
It's the necessary evil that the New Day doesn't need. So, yes, we see now you get those folks away from him and give him a chance to shine. You give him you give him MVP, and MVP gives him the show it to you. And you know what I'm saying? We get the content that we want. So I think it's necessary, but it's not necessary other places. Whoever's booking the New Day stuff.
Why doesn't the New Day need to break up or possibly have tension? Because we've never seen tension with them. Okay, talk about it.
I'm okay with tension because that fleshes out the story. Every homeboy has tension. Know what I mean? Anyway, I think that's kind of how it's supposed to work. So let that tension bleed into the podcast. But yeah, I'm okay with tension. Don't bust them up.
Don't bust them up. So, do you see Big E becoming a champion within the next year?
I'm with it. I say absolutely. Okay. I say you might as well go on, give him that briefcase and let him take it from Kofi.
He said let him take it from Kofi. All right, so if you do that, how do you prevent them from breaking up? Because now are you Black Rasslin Podcast? So let's paint a scenario here, and we ain't painting black on black crime, but we just making this relatable. So you got the briefcase. No, you're the champion. Or you finally get that belt back. You got back to where you are. All of a sudden, here comes Brother Math cashing in on you. Now, Brother Cal in between. And then you got Drip sitting there like, I don't know, what's wrong with y'all?
Just don't say the N-word. I think that's perfect. That's static. That's tension. That's what you need to make something that's been around for so long and being successful matter more and give it some legs. Like, yo, now we have to go through something together and you got to watch it and it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be fun on TV. So, yeah, go ahead and do that. And, you know what I mean? You don't have to break them up. You lengthen the life. You give them more life.
He said, give him the life. Before we get out of here, plug everything you got going on.
Pause.
It's funny, my cousin do that to me all the time. And then I so much I had to create a graphic for it. So shout out to Chain Wayne Blogs. I had to create a graphic for that. Pause. So, all right, what words can we use nowadays? Promote everything you got going on.
All right, as I plug myself.
Pause.
Absolutely. IlFam79 on all social media. More importantly, at Wes Buffy. BlackRasslin.com, at Black Rasslin. We everywhere, man. Please subscribe to the Black Rasslin. That merch is coming sooner than later. And it's going to be dropped there.
Y'all heard what he said. Wrestling Realms, Wrestling for the Culture, live here at Blerdcon. Till the next time, everybody. Too sweet.
This show wasn't born for the weak.